Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Benjamín again on another episode of Find Your Purpose. I'm really excited today of having a live on December 18th because it's anniversary. I'm pretty excited. It's my anniversary from joining the best organization, I would say, Greek organization, Sigma Delta Alpha. So shout out to my Sigmas, SESU Sigma, Psi Class. You know who you are. But yeah, today's a pretty awesome episode. Has all the episodes, so if you've seen them, you should know they're hella cool. But yeah, today's episode's pretty cool too. It's a awesome topic that I would say is it's very important. It's maybe not all the students are going to experience this, but for sure for those that we did, and for those that will, I think it's a pretty cool topic to listen and to talk about. So I'm gonna go ahead and invite my first guest. She's waiting. I already see her there, and actually see both of them. But first, I'm gonna invite the first one. So let me go ahead and do that. All right. And yeah, so like I was saying, oh whoa, there you are. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice. How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
How's did you finish already your finals and everything?
Finals? Yeah, I just finished like yesterday with my last final. So,
Nice, nice. Well, power to you. Finishing a semester in a pandemic. You know,
hmm
it's I'm assuming it's not that easy, and yeah, you're getting closer to graduation, no?
yeah, I graduate next semester, so
Hey,
that's exciting.
super proud of you. So for those of you, obviously you all don't know. I know Makayla since she was a senior in high school, back in
2017 and
back in
2016.
in SF. The name of your high school? Oh man, Burton.
Yeah, Burton.
Oh man, I was like, am I gonna mess this up? Yeah, so it was really exciting to meet with you back in the day and to work with you when you were a senior in high school. I had no idea what I was doing back in the day. I still do feel like I don't have no idea what I'm doing now, but it was pretty awesome to see and to hear from you tell me that you're gonna graduate next semester. Like, wow, this actually works. This whole advising thing, like, probably had a big impact on you or not. I don't know. You don't have to answer that, but I think it's really awesome to see you as you were a senior in high school and now getting closer to grad.
Yeah,
Super. You're not there yet, but when you graduate, it's gonna be super awesome.
yeah. Can't wait. It's been a long 4 years.
All right. Well, Makayla, for those that don't know who you are, you tell them like who you are, what school you attend, where you from.
All right, so my name is Makayla. I'm from San Francisco, but I go to San Jose State, and I'm majoring in public health, health sciences, and minoring in African American studies. So
Hey,
yeah,
awesome, awesome. Thank you. All right. So SUSU. That is what, like about 40-minute drive from SF?
yeah, it's like an hour. It's no, it's really like an hour.
Like
It's a
on a
little bit longer than
day.
40.
Yeah, when it's a bad day with traffic, you can imagine how that is. But
It's ridiculous.
what made you pick San Jose State?
Honestly, I knew I didn't want to go too far, but I wanted to be like far enough to where people wouldn't want to just drive up all the time. So I picked like San Jose State. Honestly, I really wasn't even like thinking about going to San Jose State. But I know you went to San Jose State and we were talking about that. And you were like, yeah, San Jose State's a great school. And I was like, maybe I will try it. And then also, my boyfriend, he was telling me about San Jose State. So I was like, maybe I'll just apply. So I just applied. And then once I got all like my admissions back, like what I got into, I was like, oh, I don't know which one to choose. I really just like, maybe it was just like a flip a coin, honestly, because there was really nothing that like made me want to go that much. But we're
Eh,
here.
But you made the decision. You're there, and I hope it was a good one for your experience. And well, we can talk a little bit more about your experience right now. But hey, SUSU, yes, I attended there. I graduated there, so of course I was gonna tell you, hey, apply to SUSU. It's not that far, and it's still you can get the college experience and all that. And like if you would have said it as a state or whatnot, or even East Bay, you probably would have been commuting a little bit more, depending.
Yeah.
So I'm happy you did. You did attend, and
Yeah, I am
I hope
too.
you've had a good experience so far. All right, so we talked about that. Do you feel like 40 minutes of being away, you did have to live in dorms, huh?
Yeah, so my first campus, I lived on campus. My first 2 years, actually, I lived on campus.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it was okay. It was different adjusting, I would say. Even though it was like 40 minutes, it was still like I was living there on my own. And like essentially like my mom, like they left. I was like, oh, I really had to do this by myself. It was different. It was really different.
What was that feeling like when they dropped you off that first day, night, and then they
The
dropped?
first day I was so sad. I remember crying. I was like, oh my God, am I really like I gotta do this by myself? Even though I had a roommate, I was like, I gotta wash my clothes by myself, like go eat. Nobody's gonna tell me like cook dinner. I was like, I don't know. I was texting my mom like every night. I was like, the first time I washed my clothes, because I didn't honestly, I didn't wash my own clothes until I got to college, and
Mhm.
then I had to wash my own clothes, and then I didn't, I didn't know like what. I had to call people when I was washing clothes. I was like, "What do I put on cold or hot?" I was like, "I don't know."
What is this whole delicate thing? You know how some
Yeah, I was like, "Whoa."
I'm like, all I know when I started washing clothes is to not put Clorox on the color clothes and put like the red like Downy soft all that good stuff to everything else. Like that's pretty much all I knew. But
Yeah,
I had no idea. I'm like, what do I press here? Like just start? I didn't know.
yeah. I was like, I'm just buy Tide. They bought me Tide Pods, so that was easy. I didn't have to deal with too much. I just threw stuff in. I was like, I'm gonna just do this.
All right, so yeah, so there was you would say like you started feeling a little like homesick in the beginning.
Yeah, I definitely was, especially like going somewhere where you don't have like you don't know nobody yet. So it's like I knew my roommate, but I mean, college roommates aren't always the best thing. So and it's not. I don't know. I just wanted to venture out too, but it was really hard, like nerve-wracking. All these older people. I was like,
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely relate. My first experience, I was a transfer student, so I was a little older when I was dropped off at the dorms at CVB, and it still felt weird though because I've always lived with my parents, and we were in a weird situation during that time. The whole like losing a home and all this. I'm like, why am I why am I going to school while things are happening back home? And also like as students and moving away like that, you bring all those things, all these emotions, things that you're going through, things of like the family. And even while you are at college, you still know of all the problems that are happening at home. And like it's like this battle, right, of like should I continue like this, or should I go back and try to help or fix what's back home? And but yeah, so when I got dropped off that first day, I remember laying in those skinny, hard, little small mattress
oh my
dorm beds
God,
and looking
yeah,
feeling them like I was rooming with three other guys and fraternity guys, white guys, I guess, just to say it out there. And not that I hated the guys, but I just didn't know them. I couldn't relate. It was
yeah,
a vibe that I just wasn't used to where I was from. I wasn't used to hanging out with that kind of people or those like that type of vibe, I guess. And I was just laying there in my room. And I'm like, what do I do now? Should I just sleep? Do I go outside? I feel intimidated. Like they had like a
right.
party outside my and in the little living room, and I was just there with my little PlayStation. And I'm like, am I cool for being in here? Should I go outside? Like I felt this pressure of all these weird things. But that was just the first day. How was your first semester though? Trying to, you're freshman in college, away from home. Did all these emotions at some point start coming back to you throughout the semester?
Um, my first semester, honestly, it was okay. Like I'm pretty quiet. Like I'm not really like a very extroverted person, but I did meet a lot of people. I met a lot of my friends my first semester like in classes. So like I still like talk to like a couple of them now. But at the end, how did I feel? Honestly, I think I was homesick. I wanted to go home. I was like, I don't want to do this, especially because the break too. You get to go home because they kick you out at your first like year for the whole month. They kick you out like you gotta go, and then when you go back home and it's like January come back and you gotta come back. I'm like, dang, can I just stay home? Like I don't want to go back to the dorms. Like this is so much more peaceful being here and then going back to the dorms. I was
Did
definitely more homesick after the first semester ended.
mm, okay.
Yeah.
Never thought about it like that actually. Did you feel like were you going back home often throughout that semester?
Yes, I was going home like almost like every other weekend. Like, I hated it there on the weekend. I was so bored. Maybe it's just because I didn't find like my group of friends or like people I could talk to yet that much, but I was going home a lot.
Mm. And did you feel like it has changed in your second, and third year? Like, do you go often back home often, or like you feel like you
Yeah,
I got used to the SUSU community?
compared to my first year, I never go back. Like my second year, I went back a little bit, but it was way less. And then my third year, never. I never went back. Like I just didn't want to go back home no more. I was like, okay, yeah,
Mm. I don't know if I'm not. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can't hear you, Makayla. I don't know. I don't know if Oh, there we go. She left. I think she probably. I was like, is it me? Is it me? Like not being able to hear her, or like, is it my internet? But hopefully she comes back. She probably had internet connection issues, like we all do. Sometimes I'm in a Zoom meeting and I'm like frozen, and I'm supposedly talking, and then they can't see me. I'm like, oh wait, what? Or I'm supposedly talking and no one can hear me because I'm on mute. Oh, she's back. So internet. I was like, should I stop this? What do I do? This is the first time happening.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I thought it was me, but hey, it's
I know.
totally
I was like, am I not? Does he not hear me? Sorry.
no. It's okay. It's okay. I was like, I was about to, because if I stop, then yeah, pretty much that's it.
Yeah.
No, but it's okay. I mean, you were saying that in your third year, you pretty much like didn't go back home anymore.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I did not go back home. I want to say it's because maybe I just found like my group, but like I knew a lot more about the campus and like around it, so it was like way easier for me to like find things to do, with like things to go hang out, go to the mall or whatever. So that was definitely a reason. Like I just got more comfortable with the city of San Jose, I guess.
Okay, okay, and and then you were working. No, every time I've seen checked in here and there with you, you've been working. When did you start working at SUSU on campus?
So I actually started working my second semester. So my freshman year, but my second semester. I actually found a job I was in ELP. So I had a mentor and she was telling me about a job that was on campus and that I actually started. She actually like put in like a word for me. She was like, yeah, I know this young lady. And then I ended up having to go interview and then working there for my second semester.
Nice. Do you feel like that also kind of helped with your adjustment at SUSU?
Um, a little bit, not really so much though. Only not that specific job, I would say. It
Okay.
was more like it was for a doctorate program, so it was like just me the whole time in there. So it wasn't really that exposing. But I did stop working there and started to work for housing, and that helped me a lot because I was working with people my age and then meeting new people who come in. So that one definitely like helped a lot.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, because I was seeing you working late shifts and you're doing your
Yeah.
board at times. I was like, what is she? Where does she work? I didn't know.
Yeah, I worked two jobs
Mm,
on
okay.
campus. So it was one. I ended up stop working at the first place, and then I started to work for another program. So I worked as a student assistant and also as a office assistant in housing.
Nice, nice. I never worked on campus. Well, actually, lies. I did. When I started doing my master's, I was working at the student involvement office, and it was just a different feeling, just having to commute to work somewhere around San Jose, drive or go on the bus, rather than like just walking to work. And I had a
Yeah.
class call, and I'm like, oh well, my class work is on the first floor. Just walk down and be like, hey, I'm here with my backpack and stuff. So it was definitely a good way to meet more people, like you said, and just feel like, hey, like I'm 24/7 here. Like I don't have to disconnect from being a student and going somewhere else. I'm always here. Felt like I was still
Yeah.
like there in class, meeting people, working, still meeting like people, talking to people, and it just really helped with adjustment for sure.
Yeah, definitely did.
Any
Yeah,
any
housing was
that
amazing.
you any advice that you can have on students, like those students who are maybe first year, second year, still finding like feeling homesick, or just feeling like they're not connected with their campus.
I will say before classes started my first semester, me and my roommate, we walked like the whole campus to like go find like go see things and like see first we did it to like see where our classes were the next day because we didn't want to like be super lost. So we walked around each campus and we went to both of our classes to find the rooms that we were in, but we also like just walked around like the whole campus to see like, oh, this is here, that's there. So I would say exploring the campus like before like it gets super crowded. So like the day before classes or like if you live on campus like the weekend, is best to like go look and see. What else? Finding friends, at least one that you didn't like go to high school with or something is definitely a good way to help. Like it's okay if like you know people who go to like went to your high school and they go to the same college, but it's also important to like find new friends that like you didn't go to high school with.
Like a circle of friends, right? Like a circle, like someone that like that you can connect with and not feel like you're just there on your own, going to class, going back to your dorm, going to class, and missing home. Because so, would you say if you had to pick going to college all over again, would you move away from home to go to college all over again?
Yeah, I would. I would not stay. I mean, I was debating about going to San Francisco State because I lived in San Francisco, but I was like, there's so much world out here. I don't know why I would want to stay in one city. And I know San Jose isn't that far, but it's still not the same city that I'm living in. So,
Oh no, 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 no. San Jose is SF and good things and then not good things. SF is awesome and great things, and SJ is like it's just a whole different community, you know. So
yeah,
all
it
right, so
is.
I guess that we can wrap up with that uh, part right there that you would do it all over again for
Yes,
sure.
I would.
All right, then Makayla, thank you so much for
Thank
joining me
you.
conversation, and it's totally fine about the whole don't worry about the difficulties. Good luck on your last semester, and really hoping that the world is much better so you can actually have a graduation ceremony that you can walk and have your family here and see you, you know, walk that stage.
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah, and if not, I mean, that's long, you'll graduate and that's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome. I'm always gonna be proud, super excited to see you take that step in your life, and anything you may need along the way, just shoot me a message. I'm always gonna be here.
Yes, you've been so helpful. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks so much,
Thank
Michaela.
you.
Have a good holidays and stay safe.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. All right, y'all. So that was Michaela's. Again, really awesome student, person, and everything above. Met her since she was, again, a senior in high school while I was working with high school students. Kind of complicated to explain my role back then, but there she is. She's about to graduate. Super awesome. Really proud advisor here. And let me go ahead and invite my next guest. Let's see, where are you? There she is, sending that request for Daisy. Hey,
Hi,
how's it going?
it's going. I'm gonna turn. Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, okay. I can hear you. You're still frozen. Oh, wait, you're not frozen no more. There you are. How are
I'm good. My Wi-Fi's just tripping out because it's tired.
It wants to go on vacation as well. It's probably saying, all of y'all go home already. Enjoy your holidays. I need to relax. Everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, dokie. Well, just to give a little bit of context of who Daisy is, Daisy and I met back in 2013, 2012. I'm not sure.
Something
Uh,
like that.
it's been a long time now. We started collaborating to be founders of this organization to support Latinx students at San Jose State University. It was intended to support Latinx student leaders at San Jose State University, and she was during that time president of Sigma Pi Sorority, and I was president of Sigma Delta Alpha fraternity. And yeah, I mean, like I would say Daisy is the person of why I work at KIP. Okay, because of you. You're the one who told me about this role, and I remember that day. And when I was, unemployed for a while, and I was like, okay, yeah, I don't want to work with middle school students because during that time you were working with middle school students at KIP, and then you're like, no, 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 it's to help students to go to college, and I was like, oh, what? So then I applied, and then that's how I worked with Makayla, who just left the video. So, thank you so much, and I'm happy for you to be here.
Yeah, I knew you were going to be perfect for this role, and I'm glad that you're still like growing within it. That's so dope.
Not stopping. We gotta take, continue. It's all for our community, for our students.
For sure.
All right, then Daisy, can you tell everybody like where you from? What college did you attend? Obviously, I kind of said it, but what college did you attend?
Yeah, so my name is Deysi. I'm from Richmond, and grown up my entire life here. And I attended SJSU. I graduated back in 2013, and I graduated with a major in justice studies and a minor in human rights.
Okay. Well, thank you. What do you currently work right now?
Yes, I'm currently working. I'm back in my community, so I live in Richmond again, which I'm really, really happy about. And I am I basically support young people in learning about their rights in school, and get to advise a lot of young people on how to advocate for themselves. So I'm the education engagement advocate at the Rise Youth Center. So it's a youth center that a lot of my friends actually grew up in, like go in. It's just a space for young people to come hang out, do art, learn about school, and receive any type of support they may need. So I get to support young people in my community. It's really dope.
That's so cool. That's so cool. That's one of the things I would say that I definitely admire from you, for going back, because I remember you talking about going back home and supporting your community, like you said, and it's one of the things that I hope that one day I get to do and go back to Salinas and in a way that I can and support or make an impact there, do the work over there as well. I feel like I still somehow do it here in San Jose with the students that I work here in the Bay Area, but because it reminds me a lot of home, but at the end of the day, it's like it's obviously not home, and like, even though
Yeah.
whichever way, I mean, it is home. I feel like San Jose is home, but it's not the 831, it's not Salinas. So I think way that I can, whichever. I hope this could be a way, right? These videos, these lives, I don't know, but it's something that is super powerful that you do.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it. It's really dope. And San Jose is definitely my second home, though. Like, I lived there for almost 8 years, so I miss it all the time.
And we miss you too. We miss you too, Daisy. Going from Madrid to Chacon and everything. Okay. Well, why did you pick San Jose State then when you were, in high school?
Yeah, so I had no idea what I was doing when I was in high school. I learned my junior year, or no, actually the beginning of my senior year, that I actually wasn't even on track to graduate. And one of my friends had a EAOP counselor who kind of took me in, and I took 12 classes my senior year and caught up. I got all my credits. She helped me apply to college, which I, again, had no idea. I just selected a bunch of universities I had never really visited. And then once I got my acceptance letters, I was really, really shocked that I got into any school. And I thought about going to Sac State just because my husband, but back then boyfriend, was at UC Davis, and then my cousin who I grew up with, that I basically went to school with my entire life, he was going to Davis as well. So I was like, maybe I'll go to Sac State, so I'll be near my family and my boyfriend. And then I was like, I don't want to go there because I visited the campus, and I was like, I actually don't want to go there. And San Jose State just stayed in my mind. I was just like, it's far away that I have to move there, but it's close enough that I can come home whenever I want. Plus, I was, grew up going to the flea market with my family every weekend. And so I was like, I could live there. There's brown people there. I could do it. So that's honestly the main reason I chose SJSU. I never stepped foot on the campus until orientation, which is really scary. Don't do that. I don't recommend it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. See, when I picked San Jose, it was the only school that I applied to as a from a community college. But I would say, like, I fell in love with the campus that first day that I stepped foot on campus. I think it was for admitted Spartan Day or something like that. I went, and Salinas is always cold. Like, I assume Richmond is kind of chilly. It's not hot day. And once I stepped foot on campus, I mean, from San Jose, all I knew was flea market, Great America, and the airport. So when I got on campus, I was like, wow, this neighborhood looks kind of weird. This is like, where am I?
It's so big too.
Yeah, and when I went on campus, I started seeing palm trees. I started seeing squirrels. I started sweating because it was so hot, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. This reminds me like of where my parents are from. Like, it's always high, like all these palm trees. So it was really cool. It was very green. It's just like, wow, the grass is all like nice and cut. Like there's a bunch of people. This is scary, but this was an awesome feeling. So I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
But checking out the campus beforehand is very important too, like you're saying. And how was your feeling? So take us back to that first day when your parents or your family dropped you off, because I assume you lived in the dorms.
I did not live in the dorms.
How did that work?
So, my story is crazy. A week before I was supposed to start school, I was like, I never got assigned a dorm. What's going on? And so I went to their offices, and they're like, oh yeah, we're full. Here's your check. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Where am I going to live? Am I going to commute? So I spoke to one of my cousins, and she was going to attend Berkeley City College because she lives in Berkeley. And I somehow convinced her to move to San Jose with me. So she attended San Jose City College, and I attended SJSU, and I moved into my apartment a couple days after I started school. So I never actually got to experience living on campus. It was a little bit of a crazy ride. And I think it did make a difference just because I knew I had one friend that I graduated with that also went there, but he got to dorm. And so our experiences were a lot different in that, he actually got to meet students before the first day of school. And I didn't. I just went to class, and it was really, really scary.
All right, so you live with your cousins. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know SUSU allowed that to happen, because normally they have a strict policy. Students have to live in the dorms their first year. So that's very unique, very different, very I didn't know that piece. But did your parents drop you off at your cousins, or how did that work? What was that first week?
Yeah.
Look like?
So the first week that I went to school, I took the train, and my partner dropped me off at the train station, so I went alone, and I had to commute. I didn't drive, so I had to commute via train. And when I moved into my apartment, it was a weekday, so unfortunately my parents couldn't drop me off. My parents didn't go to orientation either. So I went to orientation by myself, and then when I moved in, my boyfriend and my husband now, and one of my cousins actually dropped me off. He graduated from UC Berkeley, and so he was really supportive of me attending college and supporting me and like filling out all this paperwork and like figuring out my classes. And he actually gave me, like, he studied architecture, and so he had a microwave. I still have that microwave. So he gave me a bunch of stuff and helped me move into my very first apartment. So that's kind of how it went. It was nice to have somebody there, but similar to what Makayla was saying, once they leave, it's like, now what? What do I do?
So you had that one friend who lived in the dorms, but that how were the feelings that first semester? Like I asked her, like not knowing anyone, going to class with like maybe a bunch of people that you don't know, large classrooms, because that's how SUSU is, like a bunch of people in full freshman classes. Like how was all that? How did you manage your way through all that?
It was really, really scary to me because I've grown up in Richmond my entire life. It's a very diverse community, primarily Black and Brown folks. And so going from that into my major, and again, I went in as an intended forensic studies major, so I still had to take a lot of the similar classes around like police and justice and, all of those. And the majority of the people in my classes, I mean, I remember my first justice studies class was about 60 something people, and I could count the number of Black and Brown folks in there. I think there was like three of us. And so it was so new to me. It was very intimidating. And I remember that we went around and they asked where we were from. And when I said Richmond, like I was in the back because I was real scared sitting in front. Everybody just stared at me and I was like, oh my gosh, it was really intimidating. It's really scary. And the majority of my classes pretty much looked like that. So it was very uncomfortable, very intimidating. And I definitely felt like I didn't belong there because they were also prepared and so ready to go. And I was like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I don't know what that teacher just said. I don't know what that word means. So it was definitely intimidating. But as the years went on, it shifted.
How did it shift? I'm gonna continue with that.
Yeah. So I had another friend from Richmond reach out to me and she's like, hey, we're starting this sorority. You should come through. And she like kept bugging me, like, do it, let's go, like, let's do it. And I joined last minute. I think I was the last one to join. So I'm a founding sister of Sigma Pi Alpha, and we're a Chicana Latina based sorority. And for the first time, I was in a room full of brown students, brown mujeres, and we were speaking Spanish. We were chilling. A lot of the women are from similar areas that I was from. A lot of my friends from high school joined the sorority in different schools. And so that completely shifted everything for me. I think full year there, I would go to school and then go home, and that was it. I didn't do anything. I got into photography, so I would do, blogging, photography, but on my own. My cousin made friends. She's amazing. She just meets a lot of people, like, and right away clicks. So she went and like took over Mitcha and like did all this great stuff, and I would just go to school and go home. So I was alone a lot. And so once I joined the sorority, that definitely shifted. I was on campus a lot more. I got to meet other people. I got to meet other folks from other orgs. And so I definitely saw that change, and felt that comfort. And it was just dope to see other people with similar backgrounds, similar stories thriving. So it was really helpful.
That's awesome. The theme that I see here from Makayla and you is like finding that circle of that group of people that's going to like make you feel more like, feel connected, more part of something. I heard from this advice from this previous Greek advisor that we used to have, Blake. I don't know if you remember him.
I do.
Shout out to Blake. He would say like people join people, they don't join organizations, right? So like feeling part of an organization that you saw people that look like you said, it helped me a lot as well. So we definitely have that in common. And so yeah, awesome. Shout out to Greek life. I always tell my students all the good stuff about it, and they're like, oh yeah, all the stereotypes. I'm like, yes, of course, all the stereotypes, which one day for season 2 I am going to have an episode on Greek life, so we can talk more of that over there. But you mentioned
Sure.
feeling alone at times. And going back home often, did you feel homesick?
I did and I didn't. I think most of the time I was so used to having my friends around me all the time back home. Like, our house was the house where everybody would kick it at because my parents never let me go anywhere. but they always let me bring my friends over. And my mom would like keep the fridge stocked. Like my friends were so comfortable in my parents' house. So I went from that to being home alone. And back in the days, I sound so old saying that. Back in the days, like we didn't even have Netflix. You feel me? So I literally had like DVDs that I was just watching. So it got pretty lonely. I'm thankful that I had a Tumblr. So I would blog and I met folks online. So it was really cool. I'm actually still friends with folks that I met online, which is really dope. But I would come home every single weekend. Partially because I was homesick, and also was a deal that I kind of made with my parents. So because I wasn't able to live on campus, my parents were like, we're gonna pay for you to have an apartment, and but you have to come home every weekend. So I had to come home every single weekend, and the weekends that I didn't come home, my parents went to see me. So we'd like go walk around La Pulga, or like go out to eat and just chill. So I got to see my family every weekend.
Nice. That's awesome. That was one of the other questions as a follow-up that I was going to ask you, like how supportive was your family in all this? And you pretty much answered it, because there's other folks, like sometimes, for example, for me, like the little things of moms telling me, like my mom telling me, oh, like there's it's so and so's birthday. I'm like, well, that's great. And then she was like,
Yes.
having to be there, right? And
Yeah.
so like I, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I have all these things I have to do. Like I'm involved. I have like have to work on this essay that I've been procrastinating for like these past 3 weeks or whatever. But
Yeah.
then again, like I would go back home because I had a birthday, or it was my mom's.
Yeah.
It was Mother's Day. I don't even know. It's like a bunch of different things that would happen back home, or like I was telling Makayla, sometimes the problems that's why sometimes I felt like I didn't want to go back home. So I didn't want to like come back all stressed. But at the same time, I felt like I still needed to, because that's what's in me, Like I felt like I was going to
Yeah.
be a family member if I didn't go back home. So that's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask you, family support. That's awesome that they would come and visit you, and you would go and visit them. Did you
Yeah.
or take Caltrain?
I used to take Amtrak because back then it was affordable. Um, that totally changed afterwards. Yeah, it was super affordable at the time. I mean, we're talking about like 2008. And I remember at that time, they're like, yeah, we're going to expand BART. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait. They just expanded it this year,
They
which
just
is
barely did
ridiculous.
it. They were saying
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Oakland on BART. I don't have to drive traffic, but they opened it and we're in pandemic. I'm like, I don't need to go to Oakland right now. So what?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was I didn't drive until like way later. I think until after I graduated, I didn't drive because I mean, the nice thing about SJSU is part of your tuition includes that lovely sticker for public transportation, and so you could literally get around all of San Jose. So that's what I did because there's nowhere to park, so there's no point in try and drive anywhere. But I definitely use public transportation, and then sometimes my parents would be nice enough to, drive me home and like pick me up. But just to say, like, I was very fortunate to have parents that were very supportive. But one of the things that stuck with me at the beginning was that I had other family members that were not supportive, just because I remember them telling my parents like, how are you gonna like my parents and my cousin's parents, like, how are you gonna let two mujeres move away by themselves? And they're like, it's not safe. We had to live in a gated community, like that was like a thing. And so that was like, it felt supportive, but it didn't. So I was thankful to feel supported by my immediate family and my parents. But there was definitely things that my parents would hear, and I'm just like, that's first of all out of pocket, and second of all, like, y'all wouldn't be saying that if I was a male. You feel me? So it was kind of frustrating to hear, and you would still miss out on stuff sometimes, right? Like every birthday, my family gets together, like let's go out to eat and everything. I mean, we're that big ass family at like hometown buffet with like 30 people. We were well known. So seeing my cousins post about it, and like I'm not there, or like missing Friday nights at my grandma's and all that, it kind of does get to you a little bit because you're just like, man, I really want to be there, but it's like you mentioned, you got those other responsibilities. It sucks.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Did having all those emotions, did it ever affect your academics or your motivation on like to continue at SUSU?
There were times where I think what was difficult was the family pressure. Like I mentioned, I intended to be a forensic scientist, and so I was studying chemistry, and then I kind of realized that it wasn't my passion. But my family was always so excited to say, like, "Hey, my daughter's is doing this," and so I felt that.
Oh, I think we have a connection. Daisy froze a little bit.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so my parents were excited to share that I was studying forensic science, and that I wanted to be a chemist. And so when I wanted to be, or like go into education, I was really scared to tell them that. And so, thankfully they were supportive. My mom was super supportive. And yeah, it took me a really long time. So that it did affect my grades. It did affect like my GPA. And once I switched to a major that I was more passionate about and comfortable with, I was part of the first cohort of the human rights minor. So that was really dope to get to be a part of. And once I was in that, my grades shifted so much. So any advice I have for young people is do something you are passionate about, do something that you are curious about, and trust me, like you're gonna like it, even if it's difficult.
Awesome. I love it. Love it. And any last advice for those students who maybe are feeling or being in a situation like you were, feeling that family pressure, moving away from home? Well, I mean, right now we're in a pandemic, right? So like everyone's kind of home, right? doing home school. But for the future, for those students who are feeling, who may feel something like that, or have felt that, like any advice you would provide for them?
Yeah, finding safe spaces on campus is so important. I have young people that ask me all the time, should I join the sorority or fraternity? I'm like, my experience was great, but it's like you mentioned, it's about the people. I'm like, so I'm not gonna be like, hey, go join my sorority. I have no idea, who's in it now. So find spaces that you feel safe in. I think that the space that I love the most ended up being Gente Unida because I met so many people from that I don't think I would have even met, even within the sorority. So, and we're all still friends, which I love.
Yeah.
So as much as I love my sorority, I think the thing or the group that I'm always going to hold closest to my heart is going to be Gente Unida, just because the space just felt so safe. It was so real. It was us just hanging out. It was us, studying completely different things. Um, I see the go join
Yeah.
folklorico, you would. um, but that space is super sacred to me. I think that was when I really felt comfortable and just chill and no pressure. So finding those spaces on campus, whatever they may be, is so, so important. And it might not even be on campus, right? Another safe space that I had was I started organizing around the community. I learned about Cop Watch. I learned about, justice for Gregory Johnson, for Oscar Grant. And so all those organizing spaces also gave me a purpose and supported me in moving forward in my academics as well. Because I was like, I want to be able to continue to work in those spaces. And so that gave me that extra push. So those spaces are just so important. And asking for help. I didn't ask for help ever. I was really scared. I didn't go to an office hour until it was mandatory, like my third year, I think. And I hella regret it. I hella regret not asking for support. It's so important. It's scary. I'm not gonna lie, because you go into this professor, but let's be real, they're hella chill. Honestly, most professors are hella chill. They're so different than they are in class. So I encourage everyone to ask for help either there or from someone else that has had a similar experience, especially for first generation students. A lot of the times we're the first ones, and so you don't know, you don't have anybody you could ask for support. So finding those spaces on campus or off campus is hella important as well, or coming to the events like this.
Thank you. Thank you so much, AC. Thank you so much. Awesome advice. Thank you for everything that you do, for making an impact in my life, making an impact in Isabel's life, and then everybody else that's here, like Josh, Miguel, Gabriel. I don't think he's here, but Gabriel and everybody. And yeah, like super agradecido for you being part of this live, and looking forward to having a reunion. We need to have a reunion, even if,
Yes.
but Josh, make it happen. You're here.
Right? Seriously. I see hella folks on here.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Have a great holiday. Stay safe and saludos a your husband.
Igualmente. And then hey everyone, I see y'all in the comments. What's up? Let's kick it soon. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, y'all. So that was it. That was an awesome live. Daisy, Makayla. The theme, like I said, from both of their experiences was finding a safe space, a circle, a group of people that you can connect with, that you can identify with, that maybe you might have similar goals. Like she was mentioning, Gente Unida GU was an organization that we established in 2013, but it was it's a safe space, like she was saying, where all of us were able to come in and just be ourselves and connect in a different way. Like some of us are graduating, some of us weren't, but we were able to encompass a bunch of different student organizations to try to like provide unity amongst Latinx students. And it was an awesome experience. She was part of it. Miguel, who was here last week, was part of it. Gabriel, who's going to come be in my 10th episode of this all these lives, was also part of it. And so I'm gonna try to be more and more people of my past, or not past, but I mean, like things that we did in the past, and also new people as well. So thank you, Makayla, who was for joining me. She again was one of my students and still is. She always will be, and for joining me on this, and for Daisy as well. So stay tuned, y'all, for the 10th episode, the ending of season 1. It's crazy to say. Again, started this back in August, and the 10th episode, I think, is going to be December 28th. Yes, we're going to be on vacation, but Gabriel and I are crazy like that. So we're going to do that on the 28th. Stay on the lookout for that. And thank you so much for the support. Stay safe and happy holidays. Remember, find your purpose.